F1's caravan is moving to Monza, and we have some interesting storylines waiting for us. Lando Norris's burden has just gotten heavier. Ferrari are on a mission to redeem themselves after the horrifying race in Zandvoort, and the second seat at Red Bull will be under fire again. Which of these stories will bring the most entertainment ahead of the weekend? And, more importantly, who will prevail as the winner? There is no doubt that ahead of the Monza Grand Prix, all eyes will be on McLaren. I know we want that team to bubble be Ferrari. But unfortunately, their competitiveness just isn't enough for us to have that conversation right now. Nevertheless, the Tifosi will come in massive numbers, trying to prove that even in difficult times, Ferrari is still the team to be loved. With all this considered, we need to talk about a very important duel that could start determining the championship. Even with 8 races left after, Monza, Piastri versus Norris is now a huge storyline. The Brits suffered a very unfortunate mechanical failure that forced him to retire, and the momentum has abruptly shifted towards Piastri's side. Oscar is now 34 points ahead of Norris. With 10 races to go, that's a massive gap, especially since they are the only real protagonists in the championship fight at the moment. But did Norris lose motivation after Zandvoort? I don't think so. The man who was brought up by McLaren to where he is today believes there's still a lot to play for, and as we saw in the Netherlands, one DNF can change the entire picture of the championship. However, there is potentially a very big obstacle to Lando's comeback. In Monza, the engine penalty. Before the incident, Lando had already maxed out all his engine components except for the exhaust system. It's up to McLaren to see what they can do to repair the damage, but as of now, there's a big chance he'll need a new engine at Monza. It's the perfect track to take that penalty and drive a recovery race, potentially finishing second if everything goes smoothly. But then again, if Piastri leads the pack, the championship lead would stretch by another 8 points, even in the best-case scenario where Lando finishes second. McLaren could stick with the old power unit, but at Monza the fastest circuit on the calendar, where engine power is everything, that doesn't seem like the smartest idea. A damage limitation race may be on the cards for Lando, and Oscar is highly likely to use that to his advantage. Needless to say, it could put Piastri in a position where the title fight starts to look uncatchable, given his consistency and strong delivery of results. If Norris avoids another DNF, though, we also need to look at Ferrari. Regardless of performance in championship standings, Ferrari are always worshipped as gods in front of their home crowd, but the weekend has already started on the back foot. After the Zandvoort GP, Hamilton was found guilty of not reducing his speed enough under double yellow flags, earning a 5-place grid penalty. This means that, in the best-case scenario, he could be starting from PSIX. Realistically, it's more likely he'll start between Pano 0 and P15. The worst place to head into the sausage curbs of turns 1 and 2. Hamilton remembers this very well, especially the 2021 incident with Verstappen. So even though times have changed, he may be the one pushing more aggressively to win the hearts of the Italian crowd. But Ferrari's hopes aren't particularly high. We've become used to seeing mediocre results, with Leclerc being the difference maker last year. The one-stop strategy worked perfectly for the Monegasque, and nothing beats the feeling of winning in Monza as a Ferrari driver. But will he be able to replicate that this year on pure merit like he did the last time we visited the Temple of Speed? I highly doubt it. That said, you can never rule out Charles, one of the best, if not the best, wheel-to-wheel racers on the grid. Team principal Fred Vasseur has also spoken about Ferrari, the chances. The Frenchman doesn't want to give up on 2025's hopes just because they cannot fight for the championship this year. He said, as every year, we are eagerly looking forward to hitting the track at Monza, especially just a few days after Zandvoort, which didn't deliver the results we'd hoped for. For the entire team, being surrounded by the passion of the Tifosi is incredible motivation to put our hearts into everything we do. We are aiming to give our very best to repay them for their constant support, and he's not wrong. The fans deserve it after how tough the 2025 season has been. Needless to say, the pressure is on, and Vasseur knows it better than anyone else. Meanwhile, Red Bull haven't completely shifted focus away from 2025 either. This raises the question, is the second Red Bull seat a promotion for young drivers or a career killer? It's up to Red Bull to prove it's the former, which is why they're not giving up on Yuki just yet. Team principal Laurent Mekies spoke about Yuki's goals ahead of Monza, especially in light of Hadjar's extraordinary performance. In Zandvoort, Yuki needs to get closer to Max and deliver that level of performance consistently. That's why we've postponed the option dates further back. We'll look at the upcoming races, and then a decision will be made. It makes sense. Helmut Marko also confirmed that the deadline for the second seat decision is around the Mexico Grand Prix, which doesn't give Tsunoda much time. Monza is a track that punishes mistakes. Go wide at the Parabolica, and you can wave goodbye to your lap or your race. Yuki knows he needs points to stay relevant in this fight.